do anything that I want to do. That's why now people are seeing me going into politics. Because I can't start, I'm a leader, okay? But now, when you want to become a leader, or when you want to be a leader, first ask yourself those questions. First ask yourself those key matters. Am I really a leader? It throws us back to the main important question of who you are. Please, if you're not a leader, it's not a problem. Allah created everyone with the ability to be useful. The biggest problem is trying to be what you're not. It turns out you'll be hustling in an area, you'll be hustling in an area you're not very familiar with, or Allah didn't create you to be. It brings a lot of problems in the world when a person tries to be what they are not to be. Leaders, the biggest things, I'm going to request that if you have a notebook, please don't let it aside. There is something called critical thinking. All leaders have the capacity to do critical thinking. Critical thinking doesn't mean looking at a matter the way it is. It means looking at all the environments of the matter. What is the unspoken environment? What is the unspoken fact about what someone is saying? Example, right now I'm presenting. But some of you are just listening. But leaders have that ability to try and see the emotional part of every word I speak. What is this gentleman trying to communicate to us? What is that unknown information? If he says part A, what is the unknown bit of part A? I can give you a very simple story. In Japan, during the World War, Japan used to attack USA. Japan used planes mostly to attack USA. When it attacked USA, most of its flights, the aeroplanes which went to bomb, like on Pearl Harbor, most of the planes did come back, but some planes came back. Please, move with me. Some planes would go and some wouldn't come back. Some would go and they come back. Scientists sat down and they asked themselves in the army, what are we going to do to ensure that we have more planes coming back? It is always a good thing for a plane to go onto the battlefield, then it comes back in war. That means you have a plane leveraged that can go again. It's a loss when a plane is hit on battle. Okay? So planes would go, some would come back, some would not come back. Scientists in the army sat down to analyze that issue. The biggest analysis that was conclusively drawn was, let us increase the hard metals on areas where we see bullets past. Where we see holes, let us put more metal onto that area. But that has a problem. The more weight a plane has, the less bombs it carries. Remember, it has a particular weight it has to take to the battle. But if you increase the weight of the outside airplane, you're reducing on the contents you'll be putting inside the plane to take to war. One scientist came up and argued to them. He told them that, gentlemen, you're focusing on where the bullets hit, but you're not focusing on where the bullets did not hit. He made them understand that every plane that was able to come back after the war, it was not hit at the engine area. That means every plane that went to war and didn't come back, even if it didn't get any hitting on any other place, and it got a hitting on the engine, it would not come back. He told them, stop focusing on where the bullets hit. Let us focus on where the bullets did not hit. Meaning, if a plane is not hit at that point, it will come back. If it is hit at that point, it will not come back. He brought to them an understanding that it is not always straight to take or to look at the information the way it's given. Always have an additional understanding, a deeper digging on every information that is given. Critical thinking. This engineer, one of the analysts, helped them And he told them that instead of building a bigger armory around the plane, please just make the engines more protected only. What does that mean to leaders? If a leader is not a critical thinker, he will not be able to analyze some facts that are really, really very important, so that he helps his people to take good decisions, and he helps his company or whatever thing he's working on to move ahead. Critical thinking, number one. It's a very important issue if you really want to be a leader. The other thing is personal development. Personal development is an aspect that very many people get to speak about. A leader, you have to give yourself some self-time. Self-time. Go to a beach. Go to a place. Sit down and ask yourselves, who am I? What can I be? What can I do? What am I good at? There's something called a SWOT analysis. It is very essential for any person to always do something called a SWOT analysis. That is strength, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. You're not going to lead anyone. You're not going to be a good leader unless you really understand yourself. You've done a very proper SWOT analysis on yourself. It is very important. It is better done when you're still young. If you're here and you're in your S3, if you're here and you're in your, those classes before you really get to decide on what you want to become, please give yourself some time in the tree at your school. Be alone. Ask yourself those critical questions. What am I best at? What is my problem? What don't I do best? What do my friends critique me about? What do my friends find me good at? What do I think I am? Those critical questions will help you analyze and properly align your career, properly align yourself in the right lane. Leadership is not something easy. It's not something you just say, I want to be a leader, and you become. No. These people who contest and they come out, it's not something that comes from the green, that he just thought about it out of the blue. No. He took time to think about it, to analyze himself, and he came out. So SWOT analysis is really some of the things that someone needs to do as a leader. I'm going to run through it, because if someone asks me a question of what are the things a person needs to do so that they become a leader, and I'm talking to such a crowd of young men, I have to focus on the really primary that are important before even we go to the upper part of you need to have a good political party, issues like that. No. What are you? Are you going to do the very right thing to be in the line of leadership? Number 3, every leader, you need to have a sense that can accept criticism. A sense that can accept criticism. This man here is too bold enough to say that I was third. That's boldness. A leader is a person who has the ability to go on the battlefield knowing that he's not stronger than the opponent, but he goes anyway. He stands there, he gets beaten, he sees his opponent being raised a hand, and he's beside him. But he has the ability to speak on a microphone and say, I've failed today, I might not win tomorrow, I may not win the next year, but one day I will win. That is the zeal of a leader. If you do not have it in yourself, please, that is not your field. If you feel you're too ashamed to see another one win, you're that person always in a dormitory trying to belittle people, you're that person who's in the dormitory trying to fight for things, ensuring that you're always a winner. Leaders are not people who fight for leadership. Leaders take leadership. They do. They just do without question. Okay? So having the ability to accept criticisms is a very critical issue in a leader. I'm giving you this point so that you check yourself as a young lad, as a young person. Are you that kind of person who accepts criticism? If a person abuses you, do you fight back? Do you wage war? No. Then you're not a leader. You have to be that person who really takes in something, it pains you, and hold it inside your heart. And it shapes your idea, or it shapes what you have to do so that you overcome whatever the criticism was about. Leaders, there is something called critical listening. Okay? A person has to have a 90-10. A leader, I'm talking about leaders. I'm not going to talk about any other professionalism. A 90-10 kind of skill. You listen 90 and talk 10. Please talk less if you want to be a leader. Be more of a listener. Be more of a learner. Let other people teach you the environments they're going through than you trying to influence them with whatever you feel is very right. That is also a very important skill to have as a leader. One of the things people do not understand or people take for granted is something called reading. Nowadays, reading has become really less, is becoming less and less in the youths. Okay? I understand reading was a factor used by the elderly to gather knowledge. Nowadays, we have different ways we get our knowledge. Find a way of gathering knowledge. As much knowledge as you can. It's really important to know things as a leader. You're not going to lead people when you can't even state the years. You can't even state the most important critical things that have been happening in the world. Get ways of gathering knowledge. If you can't read, find ways of gathering knowledge, and also always have a notebook. A leader has to have a book written by almost at every end of a period, in a year. Can you revisit your book? What are the different things or notes you've been taking all over you've been gathering here and there, here and there, here and there. A leader has to have the ability to take notes, to write their own book. It might not be organized in a sense of a book or a novel that someone can read, but you must have your notes well organized at every step you've been at. So those are some of the critical issues that I really think young leaders need to have. I have a list of them, but depending on time, I'll stop there, inshallah. I'll share them with the moderator so that he can share them in terms of a PowerPoint, inshallah.
Okay, thank you so much, Honorable. At this particular moment in time, allow me bring in the lady, Nasali Jauhara, the current Guild President of the Islamic University in Uganda, Females Campus, Kavoja. Much as she's coming from an institution of girls, but there are some of the things that inspired her to join the political space. What are some of those things?
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm very honored to be part of this session. My name is Nasali Jauhara from Islamic University in Uganda, Females Campus, Kavoja. My question is, what inspired me to come for Guild President of the Females Campus? First of all, as a person, I have been engaging in leadership throughout my high school, though I've been engaging in those lower posts. So when I came at campus, I was like, I have to have a bigger image of my leadership experience. I had to come for something that is going to give me more responsibilities and give me more growth as a person. And that was coming for Guild President. Since it's a females campus, it wasn't so hard and not so scary for me to come for it. And I was like, let me take this. Then, the other thing, me as a person, I always have ideas and I always want to interact with different people So it is from that I was like, let me come and have those connections, the networkings with different people. And it is from that reason that I'm here, that I'm part of this. I'm a person who always talk when I must talk. I had to get something that is going to push me to have conversations on different platforms and with different people. And all those were seconded by my classmates that saw the potential that I also saw in myself at first. And together with them, we pushed this, and Alhamdulillah, Allah gave us a hand, and I became that person. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. At this particular moment, I would like to bring in Mr. Naswib, the 21st Guilty President of the Islamic University in Uganda, Kampala campus. Mr. Naswib, as leaders, we learn a lot. Indeed, university politics is complex and a hard nut to crack. That's why you are seeing a lot of leaders out there that emerged from them, the likes of Norbert Mao and many others. Indeed, we learn a lot. You have to move to the college, go to those people that are doing applied psychology. From there, go to computer science, and each and every person that is among your electorate. And we learn a lot from such experiences. Could you share with us, with the audience, some of the experiences or the lessons that you learned in university politics in your tenure as the 21st Guilty President of IUIU?
Thank you. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Yes, a very good afternoon. I can read by the faces of our guests here that the energy is kind of zeroed down. It's either the weather or lunchtime. But we please hang in and have this to the end. As earlier introduced, Male Naswib Nsereko is my name. And to talk about that, really, before we can start digesting the problems before a leader, one, the scope that we view problems as leaders should be, for starters, different from how any other student that we intend to represent views them. Because either way, what then would be the purpose of us having leaders if there are any problems to address? So when you realize that, first, the moment you choose to step in as a leader with that bias, one, you get to realize that some of what you earlier on classified as problems no longer carry the water to be defined as problems. Rather, they have now become a constant in your pursuit. However, I'm going to try to break down a few challenges. And one of the biggest challenges, most especially in students' politics, is time. Those who do not know time, have been hosted in Sorority before to talk about time. And time itself wasn't enough to let me talk about itself. Time is a resource on which all other programs you run feed. We are here to seek information, but we are all doing this, right? So time is like a constant. It's like that X in the math numbers that you're solving. It never disappoints. It is always there, and you have to respect it. So you're a leader, not forgetting your main purpose at the university or in the secondary schools you all at is academics. And now it becomes a little bit challenging at university that even now you have to figure out how to survive. You get my point? Unlike some of you who are dressed in uniform, you can even rebound. At university level, you have to look for that suit, you have to look for that phone, you have to be equipped with transport. So time to balance your survival, your academics, and the career becomes a very important aspect. And for so many people who are weak on managing time, the equation never comes to balance. The other challenge is, I would say, financial literacy. How well you can play around with finances. Leaders, you can speak it all, you can talk it all and walk it until you are put at the point where you have to manage resources. I don't want to go political, but we have seen some prominent politicians, after a long journey of building a career, you saw what money did. So as a leader, one of the confirmatory tests to check your integrity in your service is how you play around with figures. This particular event you are hosted at today has a budget. And whoever funded this activity, before they can even know if the event has been successful, they can just come around and sit somewhere. And they're like, really? You get my point? But if someone comes into this room, they are seeing cameras on, they are seeing decoration on, we've been told there is lunch. You can see a lot of things going around. You get my point? So now, someone has really handled finances properly for beginners. And for some of us and those who are doing self-employment, these are some of the traits you can look around and you're like, who was behind this event? Money. The other challenge that is ahead of us as leaders is information. And to our young ones, or to our young sisters and brothers that are venturing into this space of leadership, let me tell you something. Before we get excited about the privileges that come with leadership, in some of our universities, you're given an office, you're given a place of residence, you have where you sleep as a president, you're given an allowance. Some universities even give cars and everything. You get my point? Now, before you get excited on all that, I want to tell you something. One of the hidden tools that empowers you as a leader is the upper hand on information. You get my point? The upper hand on information is one of the biggest privileges that we have to manage as leaders, and that is a very big challenge. How is it a problem? You are called to administration, for instance, and you are given heads up on something. Now, not every information you've been given as a leader is supposed to be said out. There is an ingredient of when to say what you know out. And that is a very big challenge. Some of us fail to realize when we are supposed to speak that we know. You've been called in a meeting. It is a meeting of 3 people, 2 people. We have discussed something. And before the day closes, I'm hearing that conversation somewhere. So it is a big challenge leaders you are having here, me inclusive. Sometimes we have loose mouths. The other problem that we have as leaders, or the challenge, I am sorry using the word problem, but it's challenges. There is a big challenge of conflict resolution ahead of us. As we have as you've noted in my introduction, that our main role as to why we are leaders, it is because the societies we live are open to challenges, conflicts, and so on. Now, so many leaders jump onto conflicts whose source they've not been able to identify. And we have seen so many leaders, big, young, who go down with conflicts that they never know where they began from. So you should be very conscious as a leader on how you intercept conflicts. And second, leaders, we also have a challenge. For instance, I was at an event, on a Women's Day event, and the speakers that day always praising their moms. I was raised by a single mom. I personally, I was raised by what? A single mom. What I'm trying to build here is that as a leader, sometimes when you're approaching issues, it is beyond you as an individual. Now, very many leaders that day were sunk into the fact that they were raised by single moms, therefore women, this. And I came up with a controversial opinion. On Women's Day, I tell the women, and I'm telling you women today, you are more than empowered. I can hardly sit into a conference where we're talking about women empowerment. Who is the vice president? Who is the speaker? You go visit most government organizations. Who are the most PSCs? Women are empowered. The problem women are having, they've failed now to balance the new empowerment plus their natural obligations. You're a woman in the first place before you become a lawyer. So as a side talk, what I'm trying to communicate here is when you get married, as you're stepping into your house, the lawyer stays out and the mother gets in. That is an example to show you how you're supposed to dress off your bias and you tackle and investigate a situation before you with a detach of maybe your past tortures, your past traumas, and so on. Out of time. As I conclude, the last one, the last challenge is, I think I will end with that because of time, but they are vast. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you so much. Some other things will be projected. They are also, Engineer Gata had something, but he didn't complete because of time. At this particular moment in time, let me speak to Comrade Huzaifa. As the president of iSoft Club, in one of the leading institutions when it comes to technology in the country, we are seeing technology emerging as an element of globalization. Right now, it's a growing trend. We can't avoid it, but just we have to learn how to stay with it. How can we socialize with technology? So we are seeing things like AI, social media, internet, and so on. And people are using them for various activities. How can youth integrate them in the modus operandi of their political activities?
Okay, thank you so much, moderator. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. I'm by names of Siva Huzaifa, a student at Mbaro University of Science and Technology, pursuing a bachelor's degree in agriculture and livelihoods in my 4th year, and serving as the Mbaro University Muslim Students Association President, and also the former chairman, Muslim Students Association of Uganda, Western Region, Executive Council. And also the former iSoft president, which is an innovation hub, binding innovators at Mbaro University of Science and Technology. Thank you so much, moderator, for such a wonderful question. Maybe before I dive into the question, allow me first to pose these two beliefs that I believe that will guide my discussion today. There are two beliefs that leaders are either born all leaders are made. And of course, everyone has a side they fall onto. But allow me take more of the side that leaders are made. And I'll build on that for my points I'm going to share afterwards. Leaders are made in a way that we know we are all born with different capabilities. And we are born in different societies. And you are either a leader or you have to be led. It's either of the two. You are either going to lead or you're going to be led. And if at all, it also stems from our Islamic background, in a way that Allah already chose different people and privileged them more than others. If you look at the prophets, Allah sent very many prophets, which are countless, and He only mentioned only 25. And out of the 25, He chose the 5 noble ones. And out of the 5, He chose Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam as the most prominent prophet, and also the best of Allah's creation. And also, He has very many angels, and He had to choose Angel Jibril to be the leader of all angels. So it shows the impact of leadership. And of course, everyone can have a question that, what's the purpose of leadership? Why are we supposed to have leaders among ourselves? And of course, Engineer talked about it a little bit, that leaders is not a privilege. And also I heard brother talking about it. Even though most of us, we just take it as a privilege, that wherever I attain a given leadership position, I'm just going to be privileged and attain or enjoy different privileges which comes along with a given position in leadership. But it's beyond that. If you look at the hadith of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he told us that a leader is a servant of people he lead. So you are the servant of people. You are the position you are holding. You are just their servant, but don't their leader. So it shows us that being a leader is a responsibility, not a privilege. And also, if you look at another hadith, it told us that we are all shepherds, and you're going to be asked about what we reared during that time. So it shows that it's a responsibility for us to take care of those who are under us, and we have to be questioned about whoever was under our guidance. Today, we are having a very evolving environment, of course, spearheaded by different innovations in terms of technology, where AI also comes in. That's artificial intelligence. And many people have either walked the talk and have picked up the AI tools and have tried to learn them and work with them. And the others have said, we are going to remain organic, and we do things the way we are meant to do them, naturally. If I can pick an example, in USA, many years back, the economy of USA was more than 90% agriculture. And then as time evolved, they had to mechanize agriculture. And currently, we have less than 10% of the economy being based on agriculture. And prior, before it was being mechanized, people had the fear that if at all we mechanize agriculture, we're going to lose our jobs. Because machines are going to replace us, and then at a later time, you're going to be kicked out, and then you lose jobs. But then time went on, economy changed from, of course, the other agriculture-based to, of course, another kind of economy. But then people, of course, are still being employed and they're working along. What am I trying to drive? It's the same thing with AI. AI has come, of course, few years back, and many people have the question whether are we going to maintain our jobs or we're going to lose our jobs after the coming of AI. Because we know it's a very evolving thing. And of course, we know its influence. And those who project in the future, everything is going to be incorporated within AI. And if at all you look at what our brother was sharing here about the technology they were trying to bring about, that they can detect just sensing, just normal sensing, and detect maybe the attendances, they do what, everything. But as a leader, we know one of the attributes of a leader is being at the top of knowledge. Because every time, those who are under you, they are students upon you, they are students on you. They always learn new things what you bring on table. If at all you feel like you're going to remain organic and not walk the talk and go along with the AI, you're going to be left behind. We know we are leaders, and maybe sometimes we lead different faculties. Suppose you're a guilty president. You're coming from a given course, maybe engineering, but then you're leading people from the medical field. And of course, GRCs are going to bring their issues about maybe medical students. And of course, they think, as the president, you know much more about everything, and they're going to table it down. But suppose you don't know anything about the medical field. You don't know anything how to manage the basics about medical related things. You're going to lose it out, because they're going to overperform more than you. In a way that, as a leader, you have to empower people around you. You have to be empowering people around you in a way that they always learn something new from you. But suppose you stop your level of learning and you don't walk the talk of engaging with the AI. And these days, we have a privilege that AI has come, that you can sit down and you learn very many skills as a leader. I'm trying to bring it back to my first point, that leaders are made in a way that we have now access to very many platforms where you can learn very many skills, leadership skills, and have very many people who are teaching the same. But if at all you come and learn all these different skills in a very simple way, you're going to become someone very prominent and someone very respected after some good years, because you see, you have a vision in front and you are chasing up to that vision. And of course, people are, as your subordinates come to challenge you, to bring new issues to you, to bring new ideas so that you can solve them, you're always a step ahead of them, because you are always learning. You're always a student of knowledge. Right now, we can see that just me sitting here, if I'm just being sent, because I've been handling 3 presidencies at the same time, and of course, those are very many tasks are coming along. If maybe I receive an inquiry that they need a letter to be written to the Vice Chancellor, what I can do here, I can just sit with my phone and I maybe bring my AI. I try to prompt it to what I want, and then maybe I can get a very good letter, because these are things that are going to happen. I get a very good letter, I edit it wherever I want, and then I send it to the responsible people in just only 2 minutes or 3 minutes. Suppose I was going to only use my head, what kind of time was I going to use to come up with that kind of letter? And even, we know nowadays we are moving from an era of paying people to develop maybe different softwares, developing flyers, developing different internet-related things. Because we have very many platforms now. Our brother here was sharing about Canva. Canva is one of the very good platforms leaders can use, because we have been spending a lot of money to pay people who are making for us flyers and maybe these banners here. But you can just sit down, get your app, in only 5 minutes you are done with coming up with a very good flyer, a very good looking flyer. And also, you can send certificates at the same time using the very platforms. So, am I saving when I'm using AI, or I'm just being left behind? So anyone who's going to stay behind and don't walk the talk, go along with these kind of innovations, these kind of technologies, you're going to lose out as a leader, because your subordinates are going to overperform. They're going to come up with very big ideas, very new ideas, yet you don't have any knowledge about, because you remain organic. So I just call upon each and everyone here that even though we want to maintain our organic way of thinking, we want to maintain our normal reasoning, but sometimes we have to move along with what is already there. We have to project and see the future. That we know that in very few years from now, we're going to see very many workers being replaced by these kind of artificial intelligence systems. If I told me as a person, I come now and start learning these kind of platforms, I start learning how to use them, I start learning how to maybe use Canva to develop a given software, to use maybe a given platform to develop a website, my own website, I'm going to be saving as a person. I'm going to be having very many skills at a very place. So they have brought very many things which were far by then, closer to us. So it's upon us to pick them up utilize them very well, and then become very better and better people in the next generation. So thank you so much, moderator. I think I'll end there for now.
Thank you so much. As we talk social media and the internet, endeavor to go, we are online. And for our online audience, we appreciate for your presence. Right now, I'm seeing some people sending their messages. Some are saying their shout outs to the panelists. As we still speak social media, allow me to go to Honorable Basalirwa. He has been talking about issues like AI, social media and other platforms like TikTok and so on. In your campaigns, you had those social media platforms such as TikTok, you had WhatsApp channels, you have X, and so on. But right now, when we go out there, we find some of the youth being abducted, some are sued because of the way they are approaching social media, with cases like defamation, which includes libel and slander, things like hate speech, talk about inciting violence, as far as the Computer Misuse Act of 2011 is concerned. And actually, according to statistics, over 2.5 million people in Uganda are always active online. But some of us, not some of them, but some of us, we are likely to be sued because everyone here have a phone, we have TikTok, we have WhatsApp, and many other social media platforms. You never know, because the act is there, the one of 2011, endeavor to go out there and read it. There are some things that should guide you, how you can approach social media. Before reading the act, let our legal mind on the panel guide us on how we can use social media legally as we look forward to overcome such legal consequences.
Okay, thank you very much, moderator. Before I move into an aspect of law, I would like to first address the audience in two forums. One, we have students who are secondary school students and university students, and our invited guests in three forums. One, I will begin with our secondary school guests. I was in secondary school very many years ago, and I'm privileged today that one of my careers master of Chibuli Secondary School is present. Mr. Katantazi Siraj was my careers master then, and I've also seen one of the junior prefects when I joined Chibuli Secondary School, who is Mr. Daraus. Yeah, he was my junior prefect when I joined Chibuli in 2008. So I would like to build courage and confidence in our young students there, that you can be us, you can be me, and even more than us, if you align your mind to the interest and what you want to achieve as a student. I personally, speaking before you, I proudly associate myself with 2 degrees, and I'm doing law as my 3rd degree. So if you align your interest and mine, you can be us, you can be me, or more than me. And then to our university students, you know the times we are at MAKERERE University, we are running an online election, which is very unfortunate. It is very unfortunate that we are doing virtual campaigns. We are running an online election where we do not know where these results come from, because you cast your vote and wait for the EC to announce. And doing our campaigns online is one of the hardest things. I can tell you it is one of the hardest things, because you don't know whether you're speaking to the audience that you want to attract. Because when you go on TikTok to campaign, you attract your campaign to the entire Uganda. So you don't know whether you're targeting the actual people that you want to cast the vote for you, or you're not. Then when you go on X, again, you're speaking to a broader version. When you go on Facebook, you're speaking to a broader version. There are guidelines of the Computer Misuse Act, like he has said, it was amended in 2022. And Section 12 defines what amounts to an offense while using those forums like TikTok, social media, online platforms. And then there are guidelines. There are guidelines around Section 26A, B, C, D on what amounts to malicious, what amounts to hate speech, what amounts to speaking about the young children and how you speak about them, and then what amounts to unsolicited information. I don't want to go much into the details, but if you have time and read about those sections in the Computer Misuse Act, you will know how and why you should align yourself on better ways on how you should use social media. But it also goes down to the government of the day and how they want to reflect on what you say. There are very many government officials that use social media, mostly X. You have seen very many messages that are founded on an aspect of hate and ridiculing people. But since these people are aligned and are part of the government of the day, they go scot-free. They're never referenced on anything on what they're saying. But when it comes to a side that does not resonate with the current government, that is where all the state operatives in the military enforce these acts and show that there's need to stop you from passing the information that you're trying to pass. So it entirely zeroes down to the government of the day. If the government of the day finds you not wanting and finds the message you're saying not part of what they want to achieve, then they have to look for you. But what should be good for this country is effecting these laws where every man is equal in the eyes of these laws. But currently, the current regime does not look at that as an aspect, but rather it looks at government apologists as one of the people that are doing it better. Then if you are one that criticizes them, so they determine the level of what information you're saying. And they go even deep to analyze the kind of information you're saying in accordance to what they believe is what you're saying, even when you're not communicating to them. So it is very unfortunate that 40 years down the road, we have a government that is selective in implementation of laws and implementation of what the acts that they have amended, the constitution that they brought into place. So it is very unfortunate. What I would advise you and I is to cautiously communicate, because the kind of times that we are in are the kind of times that the government of the day is interested in crippling you more and more and not enabling you pass that information that you're supposed to pass, even when the Constitution and the acts that are available speak about free speech. So it is very unfortunate, and I caution you, same as I caution myself, that if we are to achieve better, if we are to have engagements like we're having today, and you speak your mind, you speak your mind and you're free, that after speaking my mind, I'll not be haunted, is to ask you, you are eligible voters, that we are having an election in 2026. It is a national election, so I call upon you to join us and join everyone who believes in change, and let us usher in a government that will give you free will, that will respect your values, that will understand that even a dissenting opinion is one that is good to build a nation. So I call upon you, 2026, you go out there, line up, cast your vote in favor of change. As us who believe in the National Unity Platform, we call upon you to join our President, Robert Kyagulanyi Ssentamu, and cast your vote in his favor for a better and free Uganda that you and I can freely express ourselves. As I conclude, what I leave to you, our young lads that aspire to become leaders, is one, kindly define which kind of person you want to be. Because if you don't define which kind of person you want to be and allow the rest of the people define who you should be, then you're going to find yourself in a situation when the inner you is communicating to you, but there are a lot of opinions that surround you that are triggering you to make an opinion even when you don't believe in it. So I ask you to rediscover yourself, know who you are, and attach your values and aspect to what you want to achieve. Like the engineer said here, that you should always have chance to do a SWOT analysis of yourself. Do you find time to ask, do you find time to question yourself?
Thank you so much, Honorable Basawela. Your final remarks as we look forward to conclude. You are running out of time.
As I conclude, I would like to thank the organizers of this event and also task our Muslim fraternity who are students here that you should actively engage in the political spheres. I can tell you that I was in a guild house, the 90th guild house, where we were only 6 Muslims out of the 126. It means that we do not interest ourselves in active political spheres. When you look at the 91st, that is the serving government currently, there are only 12 Muslim people. So it means that you young Muslim leaders are not interested in creating an impact in society. So I call upon you to interest yourself and find time to interest yourself and see how we can better and find ourselves in leadership. If we do, then we'll have a bargaining power on how we can change this society. But if you do not and sit back, then the status quo will remain the same. So I task you and I task myself to actively engage and see how better we can have a better society. If you do not engage yourself in active spheres, because the politics at the end of the day cuts across your businesses, your education, and your life. Because politics vis-a-vis law, they work hand in hand to determine who you become and what you can achieve and how. So if you don't actively engage, then we are going to be doomed as a Muslim fraternity that should aspire for better things in this country. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. At this particular moment in time, allow me give each panelist 2 minutes each as we look forward to conclude. Your final remarks.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. As I conclude, I would love to give a simple jot down of the mistakes we need to avoid as young leaders. Okay? Mr. Mubarak here talked about mentorship, and he said that he was mentored. Someone used to mentor him. After sitting down and you understand yourself that you have traits of being a leader, one of the things that are going to show you that you're a leader, leaders don't have mentors. Leaders, they mentor. If you feel you are agitated by being mentored, that is an aspect, that is something, that is the leader in you. Okay? We can see here our brother Darausi. No one taught him to do juice. He just did it. He just chose to venture in an environment. He didn't care how many people are in that field. For him, he felt like he can do better, and he did better. He's now the leading Musogos in the world. Leaders do not seek out mentors. Leaders, they do things. And when I speak of leadership, quote me right, I'm not talking about the political space leadership. I'm talking about the leaders in the different aspects of the world. Those who start up companies, those who start up ideas, those who innovate, who sit down and start something from scratch without asking who was in it or who was not in it. Another thing that we young lads do as a mistake is, competition. Leaders do not look at their competition. They look at how better can they do. What change can they add onto a product? What change can they do in the society? What change can they do in the political space? Do not seek out competition or look at someone's competing with you and you start fighting a competition battle. No, you just do your stuff as leaders. Okay? A third one, there is something called attaching failures on background. I've seen very many young people slander, sit down, and they talk to their friends that I'm not this because I didn't have that, because my father is not this, because in our family we don't have that. All those things are nothing connected to what you can become. You are you and you are yourself. Those parents you come from were people Allah trusted you with. Okay? Please do not attach yourself to your family in the sense to a level that you do not accomplish certain tasks because you feel, because your father did not do this, because you do not come from such a family. No. You can be anything you want to be, provided you take a choice and associate yourself with the right people. Conclusively, I'm going to quote something from Abraham Lincoln. Before I even conclude, a person who knows themselves, even if you are a sheep, you can be very important and very useful more than a lion or a leopard that doesn't know itself. We've seen Arabs, they get to tame lions, okay? They've disorganized the biological attendance of a lion to the extent that it feels like a dog. It is a play toy, but it's a lion, okay? A sheep that understands that I'm a sheep and it chooses to do what a sheep does is more useful than a lion which doesn't know itself. Focus on knowing yourself. Focus on understanding what you can and what you can't do. Focus on aligning yourself in the very right lines where you have to belong so that you do what you do best. That is the best way we will be able to shape leaders, or we will be able to allocate leaders who are going to become the very pivotal points in changing this world and adding things onto this world. Abraham Lincoln said, the two most important days in a human life is the day you're born and the day you realize why you were born. The two most important events in life of any human being is the day you're born and the day you realize why you were born. So let us focus on understanding who we are. It will be a pivotal point in becoming good leaders. It will be a pivotal point in choosing the right kind of environment or right kind of careers we can take on. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Comrade Nassi, for your final remarks.
Thank you once again. In my closing remarks, I would raise 2 points. One is that it is very right for a leader to have the consciousness with them to know that you are the solution of tomorrow, more than even today. Okay? If you look at most of the things that have called for global attention, such as global warming, these are mistakes that have been done generations ago. So today, while you serve as a leader, you stand exposing the next coming 10 generations to danger with the decision you make today. So the decisions we make today are much more important for those who are going to come after us. Second, the Muslims here, you well know that Islam has guided us on 3 ways. If you want to do away with something bad, you either get it away with your hand, isn't it? Or you talk about it, or you hate it. Now, one of the reasons to why you should be a leader, leadership gives you that upper hand for you to tackle any challenge and you get it off by your hand, than being part of the group that is going to complain about something while they can't do something about it. Lastly, leaders, there is a song Aganaga sang that went, Amaanyi gali mu kazindaalo. Leaders, one of your instruments of power is this microphone. Many leaders, you confuse English and communication. Those two things are different. In my communication, you've not heard words like no sooner, persistently, respiration, what? Communication is different from English. If you've been listening to us, even just how you balance your voice through the microphone is something that if you're not a leader, at least you become a leader to just learn how to communicate and people hear you. So there is so much to leadership that if you hear and you're not yet really into the active side of it, there is so much that comes with it. So this is my quote. Leadership is just not basically about following the path all the time. It goes an extra hand of you creating the path. And you leave a trace for others to follow. I'm also going to use a very relatable example in my last words. Our CEO here, Dalaus Juice, as you've actually mentioned, I know right now we are having so many brands that he has inspired. So what Engineer was trying to talk about, this gentleman didn't follow the path. He looked around, he didn't see it, he chose to take the lead to create it. Now that is just not what matters, creating the path, but do you leave a trace for others to follow? I am sure he must be having so many people he has inspired into this business. That is what I'm meaning by leaving a trace in what you do as a leader. So with those few words, I also join a voice on all the other previous speakers to thank you so very much for sparing a minute and coming in such a productive union where we've been exchanging ideas. As it has been said, if you want to capture any nation, you start with what they carry in the what? In the brain. Thank you very much. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Thank you so much. The last two panelists, please, could you use 1 minute each? We don't have much time.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh once again. As I conclude, leadership is an experience that helps you to know your weaknesses and know how to go about with them. It makes you adapt to new situations and how to deal with the new situations, and also getting respect from people. People see you in another perspective. And leadership is not all about your personality, it's about what you want to change. Anyone can join at any level of their education. And luckily, in Uganda, leadership is not all about your background. Anyone can join from anywhere. As we have been seeing different musicians joining leadership just out of the blue. So it's all about what you want to change and how your mind is growing. Thank you so much.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. As I conclude, I also end with two statements. The first one, to our fellows who would wish to join leadership and those who are still in leadership, that do beyond your roles. do beyond your roles. You may be assigned a given position and you'll be restricted just upon the activities that are entitled on that kind of position. But wherever an opportunity presents itself, go ahead and do what it means. It needs. Go do what's there, what requires you to be done. Maybe you are a secretary and maybe the chairman is not around. Take up the mantle and go and chair the meeting, because wherever we are, because this is a stage. Any position or leadership position is a stage, and anytime you will be leaving the stage. So utilize the time you are on the stage so that you can show the people who you are and what you are capable of. Because people notice, even though they don't tell you instantly, but usually knows that this kind of person can do beyond this and this and this. And wherever someone maybe needs recommendation, they always pick you and then recommend you to higher positions, even beyond, because you're a secretary, but then you had the ability to do beyond your secretary roles, then they can pick you and represent and recommend you somewhere else. Then lastly, I'll end with a quote from Rafael Nadir, where I say that the function of leadership is to create more leaders, not more followers. So wherever, because you're not going to be in that position permanently, make sure you nurture those who are going to inherit you, especially in an Islamic perspective, those who are in Islamic kind of leadership. Make sure wherever you are in a leadership position, you nurture those who are going to inherit you, because they are going to be those people who are going to uplift others who are also going to come after them, and also take up what you didn't finish, and also maintain what you already set on the table. Thank you so much, and also join my colleagues to thank the organizers and those who came through for this kind of session. May Allah reward us abundantly. Allahumma ameen.
Thank you so much. I myself, I would like to end it with the same words. I would like to thank each and every person that is here. Also to advise each and every person, you are younger leaders here, I'm seeing some that are aspiring. Let us engage in leadership. Comrade Baswai has told us that over 90 and above leaders that we have in the guild house. Right now we have only 21 GRCs, and among those 21 we have only 2 around here. Honorable Manje Umar from the College of Engineering, please say salam. Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Another one is there, he already gave us his salam. But the message that I'm passing to you, dear comrades, as Muslim brothers and sisters, the time is now. Don't wait for tomorrow. Stand up, engage in leadership. I myself, I started in my first year. I was in the revolutionary agenda. It was started by our brother, Mukwaya Muhammad. He also contested for guild president here at MAKERERE University. In this one, I joined my brother, Basa Aliwa. We emerged in the 3rd place. We had over 3,125 votes. We managed to get those votes, but we managed to convince. You never know, in the future we shall win. You can get another guild president who is a Muslim here at MAKERERE University. I would like to thank each and every person that is here on the panel. Engineer Gata, Comrade Basa Alirwa, Honorable Naswib, His Excellency, the guild president of Islamic University in Uganda, Honorable Nasali. Thank you so much. Also, the former chairman, Muslim University, Uganda Muslim Students Association of the Western Region, Comrade Huzaifa. We appreciate your time. Thank you so much, everyone. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Question, but we are winding up. 30 seconds.
How about we appreciate these people for such a very insightful and brilliant discussion. Gentlemen and ladies, thank you so much for those brilliant words. We appreciate you. Mr. Muhammad Jumba, thank you so much for doing a great job as a panelist.
I'm still encouraging each and every Muslim brother and sister to engage in leadership. Right now, I told you in my introduction, I'm the 91st Guild Tribunal representative of the College of Humanities and Social Sciences. For those that don't know the Guild Tribunal, as you see the structure of leadership of Uganda is the one that we are having here at MAKERERE University. We have the executive with the president and the cabinet ministers. We come to the GRCs who are the members of parliament. Then we have the judiciary. the body that interprets the Guild Constitution of Makerere University of 2022, plus the Guild Statute. But on that body that interprets the Constitution, we are only 2 Muslims. Imagine, we have 9 colleges here at Makerere University, including the external campus of Jinja. That means that the tribunal has 10 members, but among those, we are only 2 Muslims, with my brother Bwanika Edi from the College of Education and External Studies. But when you see we are only 2, meaning that we don't have veto powers on board. If something is coming to the tribunal that is against any Muslim or Mumsa, the body that governs us as the Muslim students here at Makerere University, we don't have veto powers. We are only 2 people, meaning that we shall be defeated. So I'm calling upon each and every person here to engage in leadership so as we challenge the status quo and bring back, revive the vibrance of Islam in Makerere University and Uganda at large. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Thank you so much, Jumba. It means you're also my leader. I'm an alumnus of the College of Humanities and Social Sciences. Thank you for the leadership out there. We encourage each of you guys to please put yourselves out there in leadership. If you feel the qualities of leadership, go out there in leadership. Everything begins with leadership. Don't let those who are not right lead you. If you think you're the right person to lead, take up that mantle. I'll also give a quote from the great Islamic scholar, Abu Hanifa, who said, "A difference in opinion is a great blessing to the society." So if there's NOOP, there's NRM, there's FDC, that is a blessing because we can't think the same. This one thinks this way, this one thinks this way. When we come together, we can find a better way for society. So don't fear being in a different position. Whatever you think could be good for the society, so please take up that. On a special note, I want to please allow me, we are about to go for a break, but please allow me. How do we even discuss politics without considering law as a great factor of politics? And with that, without considering the leader of the Uganda Muslim Lawyers Association. Please, allow me welcome Senior Counsel Katantazi Siraj for a word, please. If you don't mind, sir, people would like to look at you. You comfortable there? Okay, then.
نعم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي امري واحلل لساني يفقهوا قولي. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. First of all, I take this opportunity to thank the panelists. They've done us great service. Thank you very much. I'm personally particularly impressed by the words of wisdom coming from young brains and minds that are before us. I wanted to make a few corrections here. The first one is that we must differentiate between politics or political leaders and leadership as a general perspective. I think today's topic was a little bit bent towards the political perspective, which is okay. But when we talk of leadership, it transcends politics. I also expected that there should be at least a working definition of what leadership is. And since that did not come out, I want to offer what I think is an all-encompassing definition of leadership. You may or may not agree. But to me, leadership or a leader is someone who guides, inspires, influences. Guides, inspires, influences. That's the first part. So in other words, to be a leader, you should be at the forefront. You should take the initiative for others. But it is also not to guide, influence yourself. It is to guide, influence others. All right? Towards a shared vision. So there must be a purpose for which this role is taken on. All of you must share some kind of vision or goal that you want to attain. But doing so, you do it by fostering collaborations and empowering other members such that you can be successful in achieving that vision. So to be a leader, you lead at the front by inspiring, by guiding, by influencing. You also lead in the middle by collaborating, by empowering others. But you also lead from the back by making sure that every member achieves that goal, by listening to others, by changing your own strategies. That is what I would think leadership is. The other thing I wanted to share, these are simple things I wanted to remind. The topic today was focusing, if they can relate the topic, Bwana Jumba. The topic was? Yes. The next generation of leaders. Youth shaping Uganda's future. Brother Mbarak, who presented first, made a comment here, and the examples he cited were all examples that I felt were not very relatable to Uganda or to Africa in general. So I want to change a little bit. My former student, Daraus, is here. He's the CEO of Daraus Juice. He would have been a good example. Because we need to relate to people we know. There is a young lady called Shamim Nabuma. I don't know if you've heard about her. Shamim Nabuma is the CEO of Chill AI Lab. Do you also realize that the founder of Safe Border is a Ugandan? So we have examples, and all these ones are youths. So I felt that one, we needed people to realize that we have leaders within our own communities that have actually aspired, have inspired others. When Honorable Basaja was asked to talk about the legal framework that empowers Ugandans, as a lawyer, I felt the following needed to come out. And we needed to differentiate between the political framework or the legal framework and the reality. Now, under Article 38 of the Constitution, it says that every Ugandan citizen has the right to participate in elective politics once you hit the age of 18. Under Article 78, we have special representation in Parliament, the youth representatives from the 5 different regions. But the reality is, what is their influence? Honorable Jumba here said that 75% of Ugandans are below the age of 30 years. That is a fact. But what is their influence? If you look at the leadership across the world, not only Uganda, the oldest president of a country is Paul Biya, the president of Cameroon. Last month, he made 90 years. But I also want to tell you that only 17 of all the world leaders are below the age of 50. Only 17. And the youngest amongst them, who became president through a coup d'etat, is Ibrahim Traore at 35. So and the issue of the demographics of youths being the leaders, rather the biggest number in countries, is not unique to Uganda. It is world over. So if we have a bigger demographic of our people being youths, but they are not playing a critical central role in deciding policies and making decisions that affect them, we have a mismatch. We need to correct that one. Now, some countries have moved a step further. So we should move from the paper, legal policies and frameworks that seem to empower youths and begin dealing with the realities. When we move into the next generation, the issue of AI and whatnot, the people at the forefront of this are youths. We need to give them that space. There was a time when you would be considered for elective politics only when you hit 40 years. Those are long gone. If we have 75% of our youth below 30 years, it automatically implies that 75% of the decision makers must be youths. That would be the simple logic and reality. So finally, as I conclude, I want to tell you this. Of all the skills that you can train yourself to have as you aspire to become leaders, it is this one. To me, this is the most critical one. Learn. When you learn, then unlearn. And after unlearning, relearn. In other words, do not necessarily think that the things you know are always going to work. If they don't work, unlearn those, and then after unlearning them, relearn. That way, you will continue to remain relevant. Thank you very much to the organizers of this. Hajiba Kaluba, we are immensely proud to host you. Hajiba Kaluba has taken particular interest, has been intentional in trying to mentor others. We don't take it for granted. We pray that Allah inspires you as you inspire others. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Thank you so much, Council Katantas. We appreciate you so much. Please, who is that round of applause? A huge round of applause for those very, very amazing words that are full of weight. We are really honored to have an icon in construction, in finance and motivation. Who are we? Hajiba Kaluba Yasin. We are more than glad. Please, a round of applause for our guest who has just joined us right now. Thank you so much for joining us. At this juncture, we've just finished one of our panel discussions, and we are going to roll this, and then we shall go for a short break and Dhuhuri prayer, and we shall have something to drink and eat. But before that, allow me, please, with a round of applause, welcome our patron of Makerere University Muslim Students Association, Dr. Nakabuye. Who are we? Please welcome. We shall have a group photo right here as we conclude the ceremony, and then we shall go in that break and also have our Dhuhuri prayers. Please come up for a group photo with these brilliant minds here from the Muslim community. We're very happy to have all of you here. Thank you so much for your insightful discussions. Who is in charge of the photograph? I don't know. Can you capture this without disturbing our honorables, making them stand? Can you capture the entire? Can we fit in the frame? We can stand then. We can get a little bit closer. Don't worry about monkeypox. It has gone. There's no much need for social distance. You want it? Are we good? Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Please feel comfortable to go out. Yeah, thank you so much. Thank you so much for this first session. You can please feel free to walk out as you please at your leisure. Go for the Dhuhuri prayers and also have a break, have something to sip, and then we shall come back for another panel, and surely Our very delicious food should be on the way very soon. Thank you so much. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Having a reservation is the primary level, and you should keep to that at the forefront of your heart.
I have reservations for myself. There's a level at which I should go and there's a level at which I should not.
But now what we need to do, sir.
The break is only 30 minutes. We request you to use the break very well. You go for that. You can use the back exit. You go for the Huri prayer, get some few refreshments, relax a bit, and in 30 minutes we shall go for our second panel discussion, which should send us direct into a very delicious meal, and then we shall go into our final panel discussion. We thank
baagala okutula shahada